Welcome to Stitcher's Flock. This is my weekly update. I realized I missed last week. I did film it, and when I went to edit it, it was corrupted. And that all happened right about the same time as this household started to get sick. So I lacked the energy to refilm it, so it just got put off until this week. So I apologize for that, but it is currently Wednesday morning. And this is the first time in roughly about a week I have felt something approaching normal. Hopefully that trend continues. It was a balming 14 degrees when I woke up this morning here in Texas. I'm over the cold. For all of you who deal with this on a regular basis, my hat is off to you because how and why? So I did no stitching in the last week. None. My eyes felt like they were covered in sandpaper, which isn't helpful when you're trying to count and stitch and just... So I'll go over what I stitched the week before and how plans are going. So let's do plans first. The mandatory pressure of Bringo is not working for me. I will incorporate my Bringo board into my WhipGo numbers, but that pressure every day to stitch something and then not being, not having enough time to do it is just didn't work for me. So I made the attempt, didn't work. That's fine. WhipGo, on the other hand, is fine. It's 2 numbers a month. I can space them out over an entire month. We're good there. So, okay. So what have I stitched so far this year? Not a lot has changed since my last video, but what has changed I will go over here. So this is Texas. This is what it will look like when it is finished. And when I saw you last, I told you I thought I didn't have enough room across because the state is wider than it is long. I was right. I did put all the stitches in and I was off the fabric by like 2 or 3 stitches. So I need to pull this and then reorientate it this way and everything will be good. Couldn't even concentrate enough to frog out stitches, which would have been helpful, but it is what it is, and I can get that frogged fairly simply, so I'm not overly concerned with the state of frogging that. Not a big deal. Okay, so big pattern wise, what did I work on? I did work on Guardian Angel since you saw it last. This is stitched on 28 count Lugana by Crosswing Collection. And here is where it was last time. All of that has been frogged out. And I have got new stitches in. Here it is now. Let's see if I get those stitches to show up. They're all very light. So here is the new wing thread, which is just working perfectly. It has enough color variation that there's some change in the color, but there's no confetti stitching, and thus I am a happy camper with no confetti stitching. Okay, and next up would be my temperature chart. I am behind a week, obviously. This is on 28 count Lugana by Picture This Plus in Earthen. And I have the first 2 letters of the month done. And that is where we're at. The last week has been much colder. We had a couple days where it has not gotten above freezing. So that's been fun. Happens every once in a while in Texas, where we live, and apparently we're in that every once in a while because it's been almost a week of cold. Okay, up next would be I Will Always Be a Wildflower by Sam Sarah Designs. This is where it was last time you saw it. And it is stitched on 28 count Angel Blush. I believe it's a Lugana. Doesn't feel like Lugana, so maybe it's a Jaslyn. I am not sure who the supplier is. And here is where it is now. I am all the way across for the roots of the flower. I love this piece. This is the piece that says, hey, come stitch me. Sometimes it says it so loudly that I want to ignore everything else, and I have to fight not to, indulge the come stitch me siren song. Let's see. I thought I pulled it up. Okay. Up next is my Lord of the Rings stitch along. I am very behind compared to the rest of the group, but that's okay. It's mine. I'll take it. The fabric is 28 count Lugana from Picture This Plus in vellum, and I don't think there's been any progress. So that is my summer tree. And this is a lot of fun. I'm not worried about being behind. I am okay with that. I would like to catch up, but realistically, I'm behind, and I'm okay with that. All right, so Jane Austen's bonnet was called for Bringo, and I realized last video that I started it on a piece of fabric. Here it is. That is much too large for the actual piece. So I need to frog this piece and use that fabric for something else. I have restarted it. This is a 32 count Lugana from Silk Weaver. Jaslyn, I'm sorry. 32 count opalescent Jaslyn from Silk Weaver in Shimmering Obsession. I have restarted it. It's a very small restart, but it is a restart. So there's the restart. Let me get a better non-foldy view. There we go. And there is so much opalescence in here that it's a little difficult to see. So hopefully with the weather coming back to normal, maybe I will be able to see this one a little better. But it will fit on here perfectly, and I'm having to adjust some colors from what I chose for the gray, and that's okay. I do that all the time. That isn't a big deal for me. So I have one more, and I have 2 more actually. So Merrick was called for Bringo. I did work on it. This is my only remaining piece on scroll bars, and I am not taking it off scroll bars. It is I'm not sure. From the feel of the fabric, it's an Ada. I know it's from Silk Weaver. I know I bought it a long time ago. Don't know the count, and I don't know the color, but it's a oceany color. And I did work on it. And I'm working on coral right here. I worked here. I got a lot of his gown done in here. So it's a start. I haven't picked it up in years, so I got a lot done for not having picked it up in quite some time. I did have one other number call that is on my big Whipco board, and I need to take it off. And it was called for Bringo. So the other project I had remaining on scroll bars was Book of Ink Circles by Ink Circles. This was a free pattern back in 2008. And I have carted this pattern all around the country, moves when we lived in the RV, the whole 9 yards. Took it out to work on it. What do I discover? I did not print every pattern. I only printed the first one. And checked all my old email files and all storage, and I can't find the rest of the patterns. Can't find it available online. So that is a project that is being scrapped. As much as I loved it, it's being scrapped. I can't say my hands are too sad about scrapping a piece that had so much metallic in it that made my hands itch. So while I loved the piece, realistically, I can't find it anywhere, so I can't complete it even if I wanted to. So that one has been scrapped, and I will replace it on my boards. Okay, so the last piece I worked on, this is another one that is just competing for my attention constantly, and that would be The Night Walk Down by the Blue Flower. This is stitched on. Okay, let's say good morning to the husband who just woke up and is going to work. This is stitched on 28 count 28 count Lugana by Mystic, by Picture This Plus, and the fabric is Mystic, and I have done color substitutions. So this is where I've gotten to. Probably easier to show you this way. And this is a down corner so that I know that the fabric is long enough. It will be. And this piece is completely the fault of Pam over at Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. She stitched it. I saw it. I loved it. I had to have it. So, oh, look, now I have it. It's a fun stitch. I'm enjoying myself. And yes, I'm changing some of the colors up so it's a little less black and a little more dark blues, which fits with my household, so I'm good with that. And that is pretty much all that I stitched the week before last. Don't know that I will do any stitching today. Hopefully I can get some frogging done, but whatever is kicking my butt and my husband's butt is still on the way out. My eyes don't feel like they're covered in sandpaper, so it's a much better day. I hope you've all had a better, more productive stitching week than I. And I will be back in a week with hopefully far more progress than there was in this video. May the frog stay in his swamp, and may you all have a great week. I will see you here next time at Stitcher's Flock.